Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album's 30th anniversary, and it's from one of the most well-known debut albums in death metal. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be looking into Deicide. More importantly, we're talking about their self-titled debut album, which was released on June 21st, 1990 through Roadrunner Records. Now, Deicide doesn't really need an introduction. They're part of that whole Tampa, Florida death metal scene in the late 80s, early 90s, probably along with them, Cannibal Corpse, and Morbid Angel and stuff. And I feel like with a lot of death metal bands, like death metal really focuses lyrically talking about like a horror movies like zombie apocalypse and stuff, and more about like autopsies and just about gory just mess and other shit. But I feel like for me, Deicide pretty much sticks out as opposed to all the other death metal bands around that time, where lyrically they just talk about like hell and Satan and sort of like very anti-Christian stuff. And these guys have been around since 1987, and this of course has the original lineup, which would go on from there until about, I don't know, probably Scars of the Crucifix, consisting of the almighty Glenn Benton on lead vocals and bass guitar. And then his vocals are just like, I don't even know how to describe it. He's like, I think it sounds like literally Satan himself. He does like those really kind of like low gutturals, and then it has like high shrieks. And I like how they sort of like blend together, which sounds very just evil and satanic. Hence what what Deicide is all about. And drumming wise, Steve Asham's drumming is just, I don't even know how he does it. Well, in my opinion, I feel like he's one of the underlooked metal drummers of all time, or just in death metal as a whole. I just think just like his drumming on this album is just superb, just like from the insane double bass that he does, and the guitar work is pretty tight from, of course, the Hoffman brothers of Eric and Brian respectively. Just like the leads they come up with is great. Of course, like before Deicide, they were all called Amon, but then they kind of reformed, and without like with the Hoffman brothers doing their own thing. And I'm not going to get to the whole Hoffman brothers versus Glenn thing. But yeah, I've pretty much rambled on too long. Let's just dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is Lunatic of God's Creation, which starts off with some really sick guitars from the Hoffman brothers, of course, and just the drumming on this song is just intense. Just the insane double bass that Steve does is great, and the vocals, like I mentioned before, are just pretty evil sounding, coming from the almighty Glenn himself. And just one of the best songs on here. It's a pretty good way to start off this album. And moving on to Sacrificial Suicide. And this song is a pretty good song, but I just think lyrically it's just this typical Hail Satan and all that shit. It kind of starts off, the song, it starts off slower, but it sort of like speeds up as the song progresses. It's a pretty alright song if you ask me. Oblivious to Evil, which has like one of the really great solo from the Hoffman boys, and I was just love like just the shredding just goes like up and down the neck. Heck, it has a really good guitar part in there, which just goes into some really heavy riffs. Dead by Dawn, and I feel like, in my opinion, is one of the best drumming highlight for Steve, with just the insane drumming that he does. And I just really love sort of like the last bit of the song where just like the riff kind of like changes a little bit, and I just love sort of like the shouts like near the end of Dead by Dawn. Great song. Next up song, and I'm probably gonna butcher this song, Blaspherian, which starts off with a pretty good guitar part, and I feel like it goes into just the usual death metal song with just blast beats and just some good rasps from Glenn. And I don't know, I just really love sort of like the pace that's sort of like near the end of the song. It's pretty much a good song. And then we go into the band's title track, or the title track of this album, the song Deicide. And this song itself has a cool intro right here, and it's just some really great drumming with the riffs, which kind of reminds me a little bit of like Slayer a little bit. And then around the almost to like the 2.5 minute mark, we get like a sick like bridge part, and this song will just hurt you. It will just punch you in the face. It's just a great song. Then we go into Carnage in the Temple of the Damned, which starts off with a little sample, which I have no idea what it is. If somebody in the comments can tell me what it is, that would be great. And just has some really great riffs in there, and it's just a very nice groove throughout the song. It has another great performance from Glenn, and it has a really pretty good solo from one of the Hoffman bros in here. Then we go into another song, which I'm probably gonna butcher this one, Mephitosophly. I can't even say it. And this song has a great intro. It just pretty much hits you right in the face at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and a really great delivery from Glenn right here. Here, it's one of the more slower paced songs on here. Here, it's pretty much but it's a standout in my opinion. Then we go into Day of Darkness, which is a pretty good song, and I really love the intro, which has some pretty good drumming with some really good shouting from Glenn. And I don't know, I just like pretty much everything, just like the vocals, guitars, drums, and so on and so forth. And then the album closes with Crucifixion, which has some really good fills and some really good solos in here. But I just feel like this song could have done a little bit more. But I feel like this song, I don't know, no, but it's an alright song. But overall, Deicide's self-titled debut album is a pretty good way to start off the career with this band. So if I were to give this album a score, I'm probably gonna give this a solid 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Deicide's self-titled album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.